started, first of all, I'll say a warm welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I know it's kind of that time of year that we have a lot of hustle and bustle, and so we really appreciate you taking the time, and it will definitely inspire you, I'm sure, for the new year. So perfect timing to have Beth come join us in December. My name is Christine. For those, I think I've met everybody, but just in case. And Mel, if you want to give a wave. Yeah.
Hi.
So together we have this company called Power in Aging. We help women feel inspired and try to motivate them through this wonderful process we call aging. We have an online membership. Every month is a brand new theme that we tackle in our group coaching monthly, and there are self-paced modules as well. So if you're looking for a little bit of extra support and being a part of our community, we would love to have you. We are doing a few Boxing Day specials right now as well, so I'll just put that out there. We also do a few wellness products, and we have a short course on unconventional grief as well. So if you haven't already joined our mailing list, please do so. Just reach out, or I can put the link in the chat so that you're able to join and you can see all of the things that we are doing and supporting. And we would love to continue the connection with you through our community. So this is one of our guest speaker events, our last one of the year, and really excited to have somebody who has motivated me and inspired me through the years. So just a little thing with Beth. I actually met Beth, oh goodness, it had to be about 10 years ago. My sister introduced me to Beth. And I'm going to let Beth tell you why, but I have Beth to thank for having a beautiful niece. And that's a bit of an interesting story. So you can start with that, Beth. And since then, we've formed a beautiful friendship and connection through our networking groups. And every time I hear Beth speak, she's so positive and uplifting and motivating. And, you know, everything she says just really sort of sits right. And it feels like home, if you will, right. What, you know, when I need to hear it, what I need to hear. And I thought, what a perfect time of year to sort of leave and release everything we don't need and think about the things that we do need for the new year. And it was just perfect to have Beth. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass the floor over to Beth. And I forgot to ask if everybody could mute themselves, or I can actually go around muting you if you don't take it personally. And Beth, I will give you the floor.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's 10 years. Life goes by really fast. And where do I start? I'm not going to start with Christine's story about her sister, but I'm going to get to it. I have a few examples of how I can back up my power of belief, I guess you would say. Whatever's going on in the body is going on in the head is going on in the body.
And
I
Beth,
had
sorry, I forgot to mention as well all your wonderful trainings and everything you've done. So please do let everybody know as well.
All right, I'll get into a little bit of that. And it's just been a lifelong learning. So, okay, so I'm not going to start at the very beginning because I could actually start my story at like age 2 because I can remember that back that far. But that would bore you all to death. And I know we have a limited amount of time because I can talk forever. And I know what I was going to say. I usually have a presentation, a background, a presentation running or whatever. But I've been in IT or was in IT from 1982 to till 2006. And uh, I grew up with IT, I call it. I started selling or doing word processing as a secretary, and then as a marketing support rep, and then as a sales rep, and blah, 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 blah. So the businesses grew and grew and grew that I got attached to. And one of the latest ones was GE, and they filled me full of wonderful sales training. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to back up just a little bit and go with when I was 24. One day I woke up and my arms were a little stiff. I thought, oh, that's weird. And later on in the day, my legs were a little stiff. I thought, oh, that's weird. I went out that night to a girl's house and I was learning how to crochet with a bunch of girls. And she said, keep your boots on because was going to redo her floors or something. So I left my boots on. And that night when I came home, I couldn't get my boots off. My legs had swollen so big that I couldn't get my boots off. So I had to cut my leather boots, and I was really bummed out about that. But worse about what was going on underneath my boots. So all of a sudden, I had posts for legs, and my body started shutting down. By the next day, I couldn't bend my fingers. Things were freaking me out. So I believed in chiropractic way back then. First, that's my first go-to when I'm sick or something. I go to the chiropractor, and I had a good chiropractor in Halifax at the time. So I went to him, and he said, "Okay, this is something. I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure. Um, I think you need to go see a rheumatoid arthritis person." He is who he was gonna send me to. Has a buddy, luckily plays tennis or something with him. Got me in at lunchtime because he said it was so severe. Turned out I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, which is a autoimmune immune disease, which is all the lymph nodes in your body swell up, and the ones around your heart send the message saying, "I need a desweller," and it sends arthritis everywhere so that you can take something or do something to reduce the swelling. You see this body swelling, and you need something to reduce it. So I think it's like a process that diseases do to show you what you need, but people don't look at it like that. But I do now. But the whole scenario was 8 people in Halifax had ever had it, and they had all died. So it was like, this isn't fun. I'm not interested in being number 9. He sent me right to the hospital, and they were going to do steroids and other kind of injections, and then start with chemotherapy to my lymph nodes. And here's kind of where coincidences happen but don't happen. I had moved into an apartment. I had moved in there, and the person who lived there before me got sick, and we knew them, and he ended up having sarcoid. They gave him chemo, and his liver shut down, and he died. So he was a friend of my husband's at school, blah, blah, blah. This is way back. And so when I got it, I said, okay, there's something in this house. There's something colliding with what's going on. This isn't just me out of the air picking this up. I felt it was probably euphy or mold. I lived in an old house. And so I immediately moved, number one. And I didn't want to take what the doctors wanted me to do. And they had about 40 people looking at me, 40 doctors looking at me at one point. And I had all these nodules all over my legs. It was really quite gross. And they looked like giant bruises. And because I didn't want to do what they wanted me to do, they dismissed me from the hospital, discharged me. And I had a cabbie picked me up, and he had to carry me into the back seat. And he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Get me to a phone booth." Back then we didn't have cell phones. Called my brother who was in chiropractic college saying, "What do I do?" And he said, "Okay, I'm going to find somebody. Just hang on, just sit right there, and I'm going to call you back to the phone booth." And he found a Chinese herbalist back then, a natural Chinese medicine guy that had the ducks hanging in the window and everything. And he was over in Dartmouth, and I went over to see him, and he said, "Autoimmune means you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. Everything you're doing is the wrong way. Your body is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's doing the total opposite. So you have to stop everything you're doing." He put me on millet for 3 weeks. Millet, that's what I got to eat. It was like birdseed, heated up birdseed. And like my hair all went bleh. I didn't have any protein in my body or anything, but he wanted to strip me of everything and start over. And luckily I worked for a wonderful company, Richardson Securities, way back. And they every week came and gave me my paycheck. And they didn't have to do that, but they knew I needed it. And so I was able to stay home and take care of myself. And so that's what I did. And so it took 10 years for it to totally get out of my body, but I was able to go back to work within 6 months. And I went no alcohol, no everything. I was a vegetarian, a vegan, you name it, except I really liked seafood. So I still ate seafood, and I lived on the East Coast. So what the heck? And I also learned a lot more stuff about food that took it a long way. So that was my first realization also, when he talked to me about you're going the wrong way, he said it's not just what you're eating, what you're doing, what you're drinking, it's what you're thinking. What are you doing that you know you're going the wrong way? What's going on in your household? What's happening at work? What are you doing that you're going the wrong way? And I was with a man that I didn't know, because I really didn't know that he was abusive. I just was too young to realize. We went to high school together and marched away to Halifax, got married. Too young, 19. And so it made me kind of look at my thoughts and what was going on. And I realized I was saying things to myself like, I hate my life and I must be a terrible wife and, all these negative things. And I had to realize I had to do something about that. I knew that that was not helping internally. And so I started reading and I started listening. And luckily, I had an aunt that did Reiki back in the 70s. I did lots of cool things with her before anybody knew about what energy was all about. And just the whole kind of, they called it New Age back then, was just starting, right? So Louise Hay's book came out in 84 and I gobbled it up. I knew exactly that everything she said was totally, um, all my whole body believed everything she said. And this is just a short form of You Can Heal Your Life. I don't know if you can see that, but all it does is have the symptom, the possible thought process, and then a new affirmation to start churning that thought around. And I've learned now that you can't just say an affirmation and make it work. You have to believe it. There's a connection there. So you have to come at affirmations in a way that you can chunk it off and believe it. You can't just say, I am healthy. I tried to say I actually said I'm healthy, happy, and successful when I first left my husband, and I wasn't any of those. And my little devil on my shoulder went, liar, 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 every time I said, I'm happy, healthy, and successful. And so it was realizing, okay, I am a little bit happy. I am this part of my life is happy. This part of my life is successful. This part of, and what happens is it starts to grow. And then that belief becomes a real belief. So kind of getting right into what I was going to say about the courses that I've taken and all of that kind of stuff. It's come about because I needed it as a person, and I knew that there was a different way. I couldn't take regular birth control. The second I put a hormone in my body, I'd swell right up. I could feel sarcoid coming. It was like almost psychologically, and it could have been, because that's pretty powerful too. But so I really went the natural medicine for everything. I acupuncture, so chiropractor, acupuncture, massage therapist, all of those guys. Sound healer is a huge part of my healing. I have a sound healer that I love. And I've seen just miraculous things change. I was in sales, as I mentioned, and I was fortunate to work with Tony Robbins. So Tony Robbins came into GE, and 5 of the top stars, and I was a little top star, got to spend 3 days with him, 5 people. And we sat in a boardroom, and he taught us a product called unconscious selling. And this is before he even wrote the book, The Giant Within. So I've got a picture of him, and I'll maybe pass it on to Christine to show you at some point, but he's so young and cute. He's so funny. He doesn't look anything like he does now. And there's a little story there too. But he taught us in this unconscious selling that you can sit down before you do anything and plan it out. You can do it in your mind. You can set your expectations of what you want. You can shake people's hands that you don't know. Just project what it is you want. So I learned how to do my ultimate objective for the meetings outside. So when I'm sitting there waiting in the waiting room, I'd be crafting all the things that were going to happen. They're going to take me to the next level. They're going to sign the document. They're going to do whatever it is they need to do. And I'd walk into a boardroom, people I've never met before, and they'd say, you look really familiar. In my mind going, yeah, I know, because I just met you out there in the waiting room. You just didn't know it. And it was so powerful. And it taught me how there's, such a fine line between what we know and what is actually going on. I used to do this thing with a girlfriend at 11 o'clock at night. I'd send a word and she would tell me the next day what the word was. And we got it right all the time. And it was, we honed in on it, and it helped me learn how to do future things. So I learned the NLP, which taught me, it was a big, huge course, and it was like $10,000. So I had to do something with it right away, even though I was in sales. So I helped people get out of their way of fears and said, instead of shying away to ask the order, stand up and do these kind of things. And I did 6-step reframe for people to stop smoking. And it was, $50 a shot back then. And I made the 10,000 bucks back, so that it was yeah, that what got paid for, and I got lots of experience doing it. And I took the course with a bunch of people I know, and they never did anything with it. So I'm quite proud of myself that I did that.
Can
But
you
it
just
led
can
me.
you just for everybody, can you
Yeah.
just expand on what NLP is, just
Oh,
because not
sure.
everybody
Thank
will
you.
know.
And actually, thank you for breaking in, because if you ever have a question, just do that, because I'm better at answering it right away. NLP is neuro linguistic programming. And it's like hypnosis, only your conscious hears it. So hypnosis, it kind of shuts off your unconscious or your conscious, and it just talks to your unconscious. This way it is, you're talking to both. So you are getting responses with eye movements or hand movements or signals from the body that you wouldn't get. Well, you would get actually in hypnosis too, but the person can feel what's going on. They can tell what their yes signal is and what their no signal is. So you're talking to the person's unconscious while they're making a change of how they, what they desire, their desired outcome is. Is that good? Excellent. And so I took courses like that. And NLP got me into that deeper level, got me watching the unconscious, watching twitches. I was getting little messages. I didn't realize at the time that that's what it was, but I'd have a thought. A thought is a message, and it would be right. I'd say something, and the person go, "Yeah, that's what I do," or "Yeah, I do that," whatever it is, and it was bang on. And so it just took me to the next level and the next level. And eventually I got very tired of sales, corporate, hoo-ha, and decided it was time to take my own life in my own hands. And at 49, I said, okay, I'm going to do something with all these courses that I'd already taken, including an assertiveness course to get out of my first marriage that I forgot to mention. That was a great one. If anybody is ever thinking of wanting to make a real change, take a quick assertiveness course. And it definitely changed my life, and it had nothing to do with energy. But I just got myself off on an angle there. The summer between my last job at Siemens Canada, actually, and I had been making quite a bit of money, and I got a big chunk to leave, which was wonderful. And I spent the summer on my hammock reading and listening, lots of books, and was taught, somebody suggested that I take a medical intuitive course. And I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. I'm not medical, and I don't know if I'm intuitive, but okay, I'll go for the Friday night one. And then they had, a bunch of courses after that you could take. And I quite enjoyed the Friday night one. So I did, the next one was, she came back from Michigan, and I did a weekend one. And I was pretty amazed with what the results I was having and how I could feel energy, and the step-by-step process she got me to. And basically it's the idea that with every illness, with everything that's going on in your body, not even illness, anything, like you tripped over a stone, there's something behind that. There's a thought behind that. And there's a seed thought to everything. And so the medical intuitive gets to the seed thought. And that seed thought is what is planted. And so when you think about kind of your thoughts are creating or shaping what's your reality, is what Christine introduced me in the little forward there, is that the thoughts that you're having are having that effect on your body to the point of reshaping what's going on in your head, reshaping what's going on in your body. And I'm sorry, I did kind of skip my thought process there, but what I wanted to say about the reshaping is I realized that at one point, everything is in our head. The belief, whatever's going on, is coming from a belief. When you have a belief, it's a thought repeated over and over and over again, and it becomes a belief. And that thought could come from your parents, from your school, from yourself, from your abuser, from whatever. That thought could be pounded into you, or you could create it. And once it's repeated over and over again, it becomes a belief. It drops into your unconscious and that, or the subconscious, whatever, however you want to say it. And the subconscious drives your body. That's kind of how the process works. The idea is that the thoughts go through your limbic system. That creates a vibration. Your body responds to the vibration. You think of a fear thought. If you guys had a fear and instantly thought of that thought, I didn't like spiders. I still don't like them, and I'm not afraid of them anymore. But I think of a spider, and my whole body goes, ew. I can feel myself retracting. It's just a thought. There's no spider here, right? So my body is responding to my thought in that way. You could say, I'm going to think about my toe, my big toe. And then my big toe, my right big toe is going to buzz in a minute. And you can just wait, and your right big toe will buzz because there's a process of the brain connecting in to do that kind of thing. And so it's the same thing with anything that's going on. So a lot of people or a lot of gurus say that there's only two thoughts that are processed. It's either love or fear. There's a huge vibrational range on love and fear. So that's getting it right down to the nitty gritty. But you're either going to fight, you're going to flight, you're going to freeze, or you're going to flow. So the idea is when the fear comes up and all of that, it's angst. You feel that internal, it's happening inside the body, and that is being stored somewhere. So that stored energy could be the idea, like Louise Hay would say, your knees are fear of moving in the right direction, or taking a step in the right direction, or making a different move. It's all different variations of the thoughts that you might be having. And it's not just thought. This is where I want to interject. There is an intersection between physical and mental. We're physical beings where it's not just running in our head, but it's running in the background and it's going. And so let's say you've got a million things going on and you're not really paying attention to what's going on. You could, walk into a wall and hurt your shoulder. That's kind of a really elementary example of how your thoughts can affect your body. There are the crossroads of what could be happening. So if somebody's having a thought about not moving forward, it's not necessary that their knee's going to hurt, but something could collide and that thought could be recognized at that point. So let's say you go skateboarding and hurt your knee, and there's that realization of what you're not doing or doing. Or some people don't even connect it, right? And they just heal. They do. They heal. I believe, I know, I'll believe that you heal faster when you know what the seed thought is. You feel faster when you think, oh yeah, okay, I thought of that earlier. We think of people all the time and then they phone. We think of a thought. I used to think, oh, okay, now I'm going to tap on my table. It's wood. Don't know if that really works or not. But every time I think of my garage door, one of the springs go. So I just love my garage door. Just every time I go by it, oh, I just love you. Because it's one of those things that happens. So you probably have something in your life that does that too. And it's a thought pattern. It's repeated over and over again. Your brain's job is to take the thoughts like a movie theater. That's how they explained it in NLP. It's like your brain is the movie projector and the thoughts are the film, and the film is going around in the movie projector, and it's just running the thoughts because that's what it's supposed to do. It's running the thoughts, running the thoughts, running the thoughts. It's your thoughts are running what's going on in the brain. And until you put a wrench or cut that film to say, that's not the film that I want to run today. I want to run over here. That's the time where you can only interrupt a thought. So NLP says the only way to interrupt a thought, or only way to change a thought, is to interrupt it. So what happens is your brain takes another neural pathway and starts connecting in with all the other parts of the brain. And I am not a brain scientist. I have a book bigger than this on the brain, and I still can't tell you anything about it. I don't really care. I just know that this brain is a physical thing that works for you, the soul. And the soul has to feed the brain the information to make it work. So if I'm feeling unwell, I've shook somebody's hand, which is a physical, I got a germ, I don't know. I really don't know how all that works. But if I feel like I'm catching something, I could say to myself, okay, well, I know that a cold is over emotion, being over emotional about something, or if it's in my throat, what do I have to say to somebody, or something like that. And I just have to kind of just make those mental notes. I don't really have to change anything. I could say, am I speaking my truth everywhere? And then I might have a thought that, oh no, I need to tell somebody something, and that's all it really takes. And then I take a physical something. So, I'll take a vitamin C or oil of oregano or something, because my throat is physical. And gone. It's so the time span where things heal is much faster when the brain is in charge. The brain is working with you. The thoughts are making you well versus unwell. When you feel pain, instead of scared and hurt, and what pain does, if you send love to it, if you rub it, we all know that rubbing, your mom used to rub your pain, right? So there's a physical piece to that, but sending it love, and asking for the message. I had a massage or a yoga teacher once that said, rub your hip and ask what it's trying to tell you, and you'll get a thought. That's not just that's your soul talking to you, saying this is what's going on. And so it's learning how to be open to that, and spending the time having emptiness in your head so that you can hear things. I meditate a bunch of times a day, but very quickly. I meditate versus nap. I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day, but I'll lay down and meditate twice, and I feel refreshed and up and ready to go. That thought, that the little story that I want to tell about Christine's sister is, I took a course that was called Specialized Applied Kinesiology, and basically it was using the body. Oh, I didn't bring it down here, but it's basically using the body, the different trigger points in the body, using muscle tests and asking questions, and going through the body, clearing the endocrine system, doing different things, muscles, all these cool things. But you're asking to talk to that part of the brain, and or that part of the body, and get information. And it's very powerful. And I'm reading through this book, and one time I'm going through the endocrine system, and it says, if you do number 1, number 2, and number 3 sessions at the same time, be careful, the client will get pregnant. And the client will get pregnant. And I went, oh, that's a good one. I wonder if anybody picked up on that. And so I had a secretary. She wanted to get pregnant. I said, come on in here, let's try this. And she got pregnant. And then another one. And then another one. And then another one. Christine's sister came in for business coaching. She's a chiropractor. Doing some muscle testing. Got a response I didn't like, or not like. I was confused. What's going on? This isn't what I was expecting. And she said she'd been trying to have a baby for a long time. Long time. Can't remember how many years, but years. And I said, oh, I'll just throw that into with the business coaching. It's easy. And I think I did it that session. And the next day, I'm waiting. I think she's pregnant. Or maybe it was 2 days. And then she came in the week later. She didn't say anything. That's weird. Came into next week, didn't say anything. And the third week, do you have something to tell me? Because I'm pretty sure you're pregnant. And she said yes. So I cleared the thought that was stopping the connection. She was not allowing herself to release the ability to have a baby with this thought in her system. And we reframed it. We reframed the thought. So that's how you reframe any kind of addiction, or it's a reframe. And so the body accepts the new reframe, and things change. So that was a fun one. I've had, I know, the shaping of your body, thinking that the beliefs change your body, or reshape your body, and it physically can reshape your body. So in 2008, I created a program called Mind Over Weight. And I have, 46 pounds, I think, that I've lost and never came back. So it was one of those things, and I didn't lose it. I loved it away. So I didn't diet, and anybody who believes in all that kind of, good food stuff, I commend you. I'm not that diligent. I'm not that good with food. I just eat it. My belief system is I bless it and I allow it to be what it needs to be, nothing more, nothing less. Nourish me with the nourishments and eliminate the rest easily and effortlessly and regularly. And that's what happens. And so I don't overindulge. I know that there's a physical, there's only so much. My stomach is this big. There's only so much I can handle. So I make sure that I eat in multiple times in the day or, smaller amounts. Most people will know if I go out for dinner, I never have a full meal. I get my plate, I get my to-go dish before I even eat because I don't even want to see all that much food because my brain has an impact. It impacts when there's too much food on your plate to what happens to the mitochondria in the body. There's a great book called The Obese Brain, and it taught me, and obese is ridiculous because the doctors think anybody that's 10 pounds more than the study says or whatever the chart says is obese, which is crazy. But or we're all obese. I think even the chart right now, I would be obese, and I don't think I'm obese. So the idea is that an obese brain needs twice as much dopamine to feel good. And so it has been measured. And so that's why you reach for the second chocolate bar or you reach for the second helping. I need more dopamine than anybody else. And so it is retraining that brain about dopamine, not anything else. Just change the dopamine. What are you going to get? You can get dopamine from anything. Kids get dopamine from 6, 7, for God's sakes. Have you heard 6, 7? That's dopamine, right? So every time a kid says 6, 7, they go, woo. And that's dopamine. You can do that yourself without having to eat. You just don't know it. And so I blessed my food. I drink beer. I did all that kind of stuff. And I lost 40 pounds between August and October. And I went from like a 12 to a 8. Like I shrunk right down, and now I think I'm about a 2, but I don't know. Because I've put I'm not a big exercise person, but this is something I love to teach people. And in a session, it's wonderful to do. You can do exercise. I call them thought Olympics in your head. And so if you want to, for fun, close your eyes and pretend you're laying on the floor. Everybody's done a sit-up in their life. And just pretend you're laying on the floor. And I don't like exercising at all. So this is a stretch for me to do a sit-up. But you'd put probably your knees up in your mind, and you'd be on a mat so you're comfortable. And in your mind, you'd probably have your hands up behind your head. And you just think about for a second that you're doing a sit-up, and then what you're first going to do is lift your head up off the ground about 3 inches, and then your shoulders up off the ground about 3 inches, and then hold it for 3 seconds and release. Put your shoulders down, your head down. During that process, if you're doing it with me, did you feel anything in your stomach muscles? Could you feel anything? Wave your hand if you could feel anything. Your body gets a signal that you're doing something just by thinking about it. So Olympic athletes do it. Professionals of any kind do it. People who are doing presentations or doing anything. It's putting in what they want. And so the brain does not know the difference between you thinking about it or doing something. So, and there's many, many, many books about that. I mean, I could go forever. This was a great book. You can see it when you believe it. Wayne Dyer, he's been was my buddy for years. I had probably read every book he had. The Dream Healer. This is a Canadian guy, really good. Adam McLeod is his name. Back then he only went by Adam because he wrote this book before he was 18. He cured MS in his mother by working with energy, changing thoughts, making a huge change. He also cured Ronnie Hawkins of liver cancer, which is pretty hard to cure. So, and many, 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 many more. I've been gone to see him. Like, I don't even know if he travels anymore, but I saw him like 3 times, and I was really, really lucky to see him. There's a place in Brazil, John of God, is amazing. And I just saw something pop up. So, and
One of our members said that her son loves saying 6, 7, and he laughs and laughs, and she just couldn't type that at the same time that you were saying that. But yeah, my son, he just made a 6, 7 bookmark for his friends. If you don't know, you don't need to know, but it's just this trendy
Clearly, if you don't have children of that age, it
trendy
totally
little thing, right?
goes by.
yeah,
I was also going to say too, is Beth, that I've heard of, like you said, pro athletes, like they will envision them getting every basket in over and over. And they've done lots of testing on that, right? And then they'll have
yeah,
people go and practice. And then when it's time, the person who envisioned it will get the shots a lot more accurately than the people who are
yeah,
physically doing it.
And
yeah,
again, that's also why we don't tell ourselves negative things because our body doesn't know the difference, as you said,
yeah,
what we're saying. So the
yeah,
negative will also become reality, right?
yeah, exactly. It's whatever you're thinking is what's happening.
Programming, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I like to tell people, if you're not liking what you're seeing, don't worry about it. That was yesterday's thought. You can change them today, and tomorrow can be different, as quick as that. So it's not, you're not stuck with whatever it is you've got. You can make the switch. And as soon as you start making the switch, there's a clunk in the body that will make a switch because it wants, your brain wants to work for you. That the idea about the athletes, I remember driving back from Toronto one day, and CBC was on strike, and they were replaying an old, radio broadcast of this ski jumper, and they had said to the guy, um, they hooked him all up with all these electrodes. I don't know what they were, and he went down the hill, down the ski ramp, and did all his fancy turns, and got to the bottom. They put him in a doctor's office and said, "Okay, now do it all in your head." And so in his head, he was doing his thing in his head, and every single muscle fired that when he did it in his head than when he did it in the real life. And that's when I went, oh my God, it's all in our head. And it was like I could have driven off the road. I was so like kaboomed about it. And this was, I don't know, 15 years since I started looking at this stuff. So it was just a big clunk that made me really turn the corner of what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing is really having a huge impact. And changing little tiny bits will make a huge difference. I believe in getting messages. I believe that we have a higher self. I believe that information is available to us. And I believe too that the more you kind of think about what's out there and possible, your pipe that you gets bigger. And so you start off with a little diskette and it just kind of goes bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden you're like 5G here, receiving information. So I helped Christine's sister have a baby. Then I helped your flatmate have a baby or something, was it the woman in England or something? Um, just so many different things. I had a woman that had a lump in her breast and started working with me and was freaking out about it. And I said, just hang on, don't freak out about it. There lots of things could be going on. Could be a malfunction, could be anything. Why are you, don't start worrying about something that hasn't happened. And that's the advice I tell everybody. If you're worrying about something that hasn't happened, that is the same vibration as manifesting. So stop it. You want to change the vibration to what is it that you do want? What do you want? What do you want? And even say, stop that. Do something to change the thought so that you can
Reverse
turn
the
it around.
fear. Yeah.
Yeah. Used to tell people to snap the elastic, right? The old rubber band in your arm. You can do anything to make that change. You just have to be conscious about it. As soon as you're conscious and aware, that awareness starts shifting and that starts making a huge change in your life. And I have seen things before I even knew about the law of attraction or knew about what's going on in your head is happening out there. I can remember back in the days when I was trying to get a job and going here and going there, and I'd predict that I'd get it, and I'd get it, and I'd predict that I'd be doing the next thing, and I'd get it, and I'd predict it. And I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. It was just good thinking, right? One of my sales guys told me to listen to, oh my gosh, Zig Ziglar. And his famous line is stinking thinking. stop the stinking thinking. And every time I think of a thought that I think, oh, why am I thinking that? I'll hear his little voice, thinking, thinking. He's also the guy that used to say, if you believe, anything will happen. So it's been drilled into me from an early age. My dad gave me a book about instant ESP in the 71. Read through that whole book, did all the little things, read it again 10 years later, going, oh, wow. I couldn't believe I'd read it when I was that young. I think I was in grade 9. And so the whole idea is that you immerse yourself with stuff that can make you feel better, and you will start feeling better. The block is going on in your head. And even, if you caught something from somebody, there's a connection there of that. So you're not the victim of what's that person has. So you're not the victim of being out there. The victim thought will get you too. But you're not creating what's going on. That's the other thing I would say. We're not, even though I'm telling you you're creating, there's so much more of what we don't know. So I don't know all of the things that Christine knows about cells, all the stuff that she does. I don't know about that stuff. I don't know about what else. There's a zillion things out there. So this is my little piece, and what's my belief, and it works for me. So I'm not kind of saying it's a blanket thing, but I believe that there's a huge swell now of people recognizing that their thoughts are creating havoc in their body, or pleasure could be creating wellness, right? My mind over weight thing talks about what are the thoughts that you had that might not be true, or what have you said to yourself over and over again? I used to say, because my grandmother was 4'2" and 4'2", I used to say, I'm going to look just like her. And I started looking just like her, only I was a little taller. And we all had great big boobs. Now I have had a reduction, but they got smaller before I had my reduction. I got my reduction because I was now small and I had these giant big boobs. So, and it was healthy for me to do it. But the idea is that love yourself, love your body, love the part that you don't like, and it will change. You won't believe the difference. The body feels what you're telling it. And I have seen it. People, if you have cellulite, love it. Love it, love it, love it. People hate their cellulite. Well, of course, if you hate something, what's going to happen? All the negative stuff's going to happen. All the hate. I just said fear and hate, and it's either love or fear. Love it, and it will change. And I've seen it change. It's remarkable.
Looking at the chat, Pauline just said, talk to your body parts. And Diane also mentioned a great book, The Body Keeps the Score, I think it says.
Yeah.
It talks about the connection between mind, body, and brain healing from trauma.
Yeah. There's another good one, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And I can't remember the author, but it's a good one. And, there's just so much. Louise Hay's got a little book, a movie on You Can Heal Your Life if you want to kind of edge into it. There's just lots of different resources out there. But when I'm with a client, I'll do muscle testing with the affirmations that they might to start making those shifts. So we do a muscle test, or I do it without you there. I can do a muscle test like this by keying into somebody. And that's fun. And that's how you can do long distance, right? The Dream Healer, he's big about long distance healing. Any kind of Reiki, any kind of that stuff can be done long distance. It's just like thinking about somebody on the West Coast and then they phone you. It's long distance. It's the same
We're
thing.
talking to somebody in different countries or cities.
Yeah.
A computer.
A lot of people don't believe in, oh, that's weird, it's woo-woo, it's, and we're like, it's energy. But then we're all sitting here in our own living rooms, different parts of the city, country, whatever. How do we connect, right? It's the way it is. It's proven.
Yeah. So, let's see. Did I have any more stories that I wanted to tell you? I've got this great resource that I got from my medical intuitive. It was written by a shaman, and this is half of the book. So it goes A to L and then M to Z, obviously. And it has every single thing. Like if you got a hangnail on the right side of your baby finger, here's what the thought is. And it is so dead on. People go, oh my God, how do they know that? And I've learned how the vibration works for most of these things, so I can feel them ahead of time, and kind of that's how I can pick up on what the seed thought is typically. It's a vibration, right? It's just I'm keying in and I'm feeling the vibration and saying what I'm feeling. And
You're well practiced.
Yes, and I do it for myself daily. I'm not doing, I don't, I, this isn't something I'm just, do for a living. I do it for myself. I did muscle tests today. I even muscle test when I'm going to decide which way to drive. It's my best and highest good to drive that way or that way. Oh, I'll go that way. If it's strong, I go that way. I listen to it. You start with small little muscle tests. This is fun for people if they have never done a muscle test. Just rub your fingers kind of like this. And then you just say your name. So my name is Beth, and I can feel it's nice and smooth. And then I can say, my name is George. And it goes right away. It's sticky. Something happens. You can tell the difference. And you can say your birthday, or you can stand up and have your knees bent a little bit and say your name. And you'll move forward for yes, for your name is Beth, and no, for your name is George. Or sometimes you'll go backwards when it should, like no is, yes is forward and no is backwards. But some people will be opposite. So they might say yes to George. And it's because their whole energy's off, right? It's like most people breathe wrong. They go, you got to get this belly going, right? So the transformational breathing that I believe in too, it just gets that flow going, just pushing it, having it down in your belly. And so, breathing backwards can start our whole system going backwards. Like the Chinese herbalist said, you're going the wrong way. I was going all the time. I wasn't breathing at all. And I also believed that I needed to stick my gut in, or somebody would poke it and say I was fat, because my dad used to say, oh, you're pleasingly plump, even when I wasn't. But that was his thing, right? So I held my stomach in all the time so that anybody couldn't poke it. And I wasn't breathing, but I had no idea that I wasn't breathing. So I went for years without breathing properly. And I used to get heart palpitations. If anybody that gets panic attacks and heart palpitations, easiest way to shut that down, easy. And I was taught by the doctor after 20 years probably of having heart palpitations. And all it is because you're breathing up here, your diaphragm goes up so high because you're going, it triggers your heart because it thinks you've fallen over. It actually thinks you've fallen over. So it triggers your heart to say, wake up, or give that person a little EKG, a little response here. And it starts the heart going. So to stop it, belly breathe. Sit on the edge of your chair, stick your belly out as far as you can, and start filling air into your belly so that your diaphragm can drop. You massage your diaphragm, or your diaphragm down, your sternum, massage all that, loosen it up, and it stops almost in like 10 seconds. And your body just needs that space in there so that your diaphragm can drop and tell the body everything's okay. So that's something I can send you along with, because everybody knows somebody who has panic attacks, and it's very useful information. Cleaning your own sinuses, doing that kind of stuff is with me. It's you just do a little session. So it's 3 spots on here. And it's open and empty, return to perfect balance, open and empty, return to perfect balance, open and empty, return to perfect balance. And then you got to go this way because it drains this way, open and empty, return to perfect balance. And there's one in the back by your temple, which is another sinus, open and empty, return to perfect balance. And my sinus is clear. So I send it a little bit of energy, just a little zap. Everybody has a little zap in their body. Supposedly we could light up cities with our energy. Who knows? I don't know if that's true. Nobody's plugged me into a wall yet, but in my IT days, they didn't want me in the computer room. They would say, "Don't let Sutherland in there," because I zapped things all the time just because I was energetic. Had this energetic field around me. So,
That's a
and
good thing.
what?
That's a good thing. That's what I love about you.
Well, Donna Eden, do you know Donna Eden? She's energy worker. I saw her once in London, and she had me come up on stage because she picked me out of the audience because she could see stuff, and she did my aura, and I went from one side of the other the stage to the other because I was like beaming.
Wow.
I was so excited to meet this woman, right? And but she showed me that I had a little space between my body and my aura, so she closed it for me. And I felt a difference. I felt it shift. It kind of grabbed me. And it was like, it was a protection thing that I had done, supposedly. But it made a difference. It changed. I felt different after the fact. So people sense your aura. You walk in a room, you know that if it's a negative room, you can feel it. You can feel that energy. It's all little molecules talking to each other. That's how this works. All communications out there. There's not just air here. It's all direct line.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I
we
don't know how that.
talk about in our program too. We talk about intentionally changing the energy, like if you're walking into that type of energy room and, you know, making your intention, sort of felt throughout the room with your energy,
Yeah.
because we have that power. It's amazing.
And we start to block it as we get older. Like kids always have it, animals have it, and we just start to block it as we age, right? And we have to like release that and relearn. So
Yeah.
yeah, fascinating. Yeah.
So somebody
Great.
told me you should intend between every doorway.
You should what? Say that again?
You do intentions through every doorway.
Oh, interesting.
I haven't tried that yet. It seems a little overwhelming, but every door that you enter, you're supposed to, before you go in, intend what you would like to happen. Sounds wonderful. So,
I think we should do that to every person we meet as well. And the world would be maybe a different place too,
it
right?
certainly would. Yeah. Not everybody has good intentions, so that's the problem. That's
That's a
where we
little
can't change.
protection. Yeah.
We can't change other people. We can only change how we feel about them. That's
That's
it.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Got it.
No matter how hard we think
That's right. Only
and how
control
hard
over
we believe they can
ourselves.
change. Pardon?
We only have control over ourselves.
That's right. Yeah. And whatever's going on in somebody's body and it's working for them, it's because they believe it. So there's nothing to poo-poo. No, nothing medical to poo-poo, even though I've had that little experience when I was young. But I've also had medical experiences that were very good, right? So there's a bit of everything. And the idea is the belief system. My dad believed in lots of things I didn't believe in, but he lived till 94, right? So, and healthy. So it really just depends. I didn't see what Lynn said. I'm not a fast enough reader.
Lynn has to leave, but she said this is really great. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Oh, nice. I've known Lynn for a long time too. We networked a long
Yeah.
time ago. So we met all their kids. Yeah,
Nice.
it's a small world. It
Yes.
really is. Yeah.
So
I had said all along that you could ask questions if anybody has a specific health thought that they might be wanting to know what their seed thought might be. And if it comes up that I think that you don't want to share it with the group, I can text you or tell Christine to give you my number or whatever. But lots of times people say, "What's my niece saying?" or "What's happening?" And I'm happy to do that.
you want to open up them for questions? I'll take the pin off so that we're all, hopefully everybody can see, and open up and see if we have any questions
I'll do
specific.
that if you want. I injured my knee last August. So not this past August, but the year before. And then I re-injured it in November, which meant all winter I couldn't do, like I was lined up to learn to curl and to do some stuff in the winter, right? Play pickleball and all this stuff. And then my dog got a knee injury like about a month, same knee, which she's had issues with all her life, but she totally blew that knee out about a month after my second re-injury. And I was like, seriously, why? What am I supposed to
Well,
be getting out of this? And I'm not sure that I ever figured that out. So
Well, pets and humans, pet will show you
yeah.
what what you have through them. I even knew somebody who got the same brain tumor. The dog got the same brain tumor
Oh
as the
yeah.
human had.
Yeah.
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 And yeah. So that was a sad story. Your knee's not quite so sad, but how's his knee now?
Uh, it's uh it's much better. Like I couldn't even sit cross-legged on the floor. This is probably a year of recovery due to maybe trying to curl too soon. It was that knee that had to totally bend, and I think there was some meniscus tear or something of that nature. But as far as trying to figure out why it happened, like that seed thought, as you mentioned,
And it's your
uh,
left one?
that was my left one. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it. Okay. Um, Turned around and said I was going to do this. And then I don't think I brought my chart here. Let me see. I might have to run upstairs. You might have to talk amongst yourselves for a
That is a
second.
great book, that Louise Hay book. I have that one as well for reference. The Body That Heals
Your body, yeah.
or Heal Your
Okay.
Body. Yeah.
Can I run upstairs
Yeah,
and get my
sure.
thing? Okay, talk amongst yourself.
Yeah. Does anybody else have questions that we could put in the chat here for her for when she comes back?
Or you can
Um,
unmic or unmute your mic and open it up. I personally absolutely love this because it's so crazy how important it is what we tell ourselves all the
oh,
time.
yeah.
Everyone's like, stop that negative self-talk or
Mhm.
don't say that about yourself. And, we kind of fluff it off as, we just don't want to see people putting themselves down and that kind of energy. But really how our bodies respond, it's incredible how much, our
Oh, yeah.
bodies listen, right? And I believe the universe is also listening, right? So it's
Hmm.
providing you with what you're talking about, right? So it's like if you want more and more, it's going to give you the feeling of lack, right? You're going to always be in want for something. You're never going to feel contented if you're always in that state of lack, right? So it's about, as she said, practicing gratitude for what you already have, and then more comes to you. And it seems really basic, and it's, we all know that
But we
through.
always forget it, right? Like we always have to read that book again or watch that video again or
Yeah.
over that module in PIA again or whatever, because it's something that you forget. And then you have to remind yourself, oh yeah, I can control that, or I can affect that by doing A, B, and C, right?
Well,
It's
and I
easy
think,
to step away. Oh, sorry.
oh, sorry,
I was
please.
just going to say it's easy to step away from practices because I
That's right.
did mindfulness for such a long time and I drifted away just because I was getting busy and over the last year I'm trying to get back to it. And exercise I was taught, which is so simple. At the time I was told to do it, I thought, "Oh my goodness, this is so stupid." Every morning get up and you're rushing, to brush your teeth and get yourself together, put your makeup on, whatever it is, to get out to whatever. Stop for a second, look in the mirror, and smile at yourself.
Hmm.
And it's such a simple thing. And I kept saying, why on earth would I be doing this? Like, this is really dumb. I now consciously make an effort, and I have done for like the last 6 months. I got away from it for a long period of time, and I've gone back to it. Really makes a difference to my day
Yeah.
Hmm.
because it's like saying, "Hey, hi, good morning, how are you?"
And I
Like a
love
little
you.
check-in.
I say
Yeah, I
that.
love
Yeah.
you.
I
Or
love you. Like,
thanks for
Exactly.
being here again today, showing up.
Exactly.
and the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
thing is,
Not
like you
just,
said, it's a practice. And that's the thing. We get out of practice and we have to
oh,
reintroduce it. It's a
Yeah.
practice.
The
And like I
reminders are
was saying,
great.
something
Yeah.
small is more manageable than changing everything in your whole routine, right? So,
and that's the thing. Yeah.
And you know what? In sales, they say have a mirror by your phone. So while you're talking, look at your face, make sure you're
Smile.
smiling because they can feel it.
They can hear it.
And
That's
Yep.
right.
I used to
My
have,
mom always says that to me.
yeah,
Ah, but
I used to
it's
have
true.
a mirror that I would have to stand up to see. So when I was talking on the phone to somebody, I'd be standing up, smiling away. And I got the power because I was standing. They had no idea I was standing because we didn't
That's
have cell
right.
phones back then. And it brought all this.
Change the energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
a body
Well,
like,
I am totally embarrassed because I'm supposed to be the expert here. I don't know where my chart is. I don't memorize it, so I don't get in the way.
Of
So I don't
course.
want to tell you what it is, but I know it's a fear, or was a fear. And I kind of
There's lots going on, so it's that makes sense. Yeah.
my gut was more of a financial fear, like investment, something going on.
Mhm.
But Melanie, I'll let you know.
Sure. Yeah.
It's driving me crazy. I'm in the midst of moving all of my rooms upstairs, bedrooms to guest rooms, and I don't know where the book is.
That's all right.
That leads
I
me
can
to
wait, and I don't need it right now. It's
Yeah,
you'll
exactly.
come to me
It's
when
an old injury. You just
That's
wanted to
right.
know the past, and so
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
can wrap it up. Yeah.
And so
Right.
would
Yeah.
that be something like, sorry, the book, like, so the book obviously is very accurate, but if you didn't have the book, could you just go with
Oh,
your intuition
oh,
and like
so
listen to your own messages and what's
Oh yeah,
blocked?
absolutely. And the medical intuitive is actually just a chart that says a bunch of numbers. So it's physical, mental, emotional, fear, psychological, psychic, spiritual, past lives, all that kind of stuff, and connections. And so it's this chart that you use, and you use muscles testing to go through the different. Is it physical, mental, emotional, fear? And then when it breaks through, you get down to the number. But this book does have, I don't know why I didn't even look at this book because it has everything. And if it was,
Is that the
well,
healing body?
no, this is um, this is a um, shaman's book that I got from Medical Intuitive. And left knee. Their beliefs about the things that provide stability and meaning in their spiritual and like their spiritual values, their destiny strategies, their identification figures and groups, and their intimates are all being put out to pasture. They're feeling therefore rudderless with regards to direction taking, commitments to manifest their selfhood, destiny, purpose in life. They are in deep conflict about independence, expression, and devotion to God's will. Now, sometimes that's whatever that person believes, but that's what the left knee is all about
Right.
in my medical intuitive book. But in the seed thought specifically, it's a fear, and I think it might be a financial fear at the time of what we're going to do, or where you're going to go. Should you invest in pickleball or should you invest in curling? I'm just
Right.
kidding.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Health.
I don't think it was as simple as that.
Alima just asked in the chat, what about the right knee, which would be interesting to see how, if they're in sync or opposing or whatever as well, since it's the same body part.
Yeah, it's usually got something to do with internal versus external. So their beliefs about things that are they really cherish, like I can always count on my dad if I'm upset, are being betrayed. As a result, there is an intense issue around the selection of the direction to acquire the resources for self-expression, social conformity, and manifestation of their destiny. It feels like it's a matter of life and sustenance to them. So
Interesting.
that was more like an external versus the internal piece. But
Anybody else? Did I see someone have their hand up earlier? Karen, was it you or Laurel? You're unmuted. No, anybody?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought I saw a hand go up earlier. So, Karen, you've unmuted. Did you have
Yeah, I
something?
did. No, I didn't raise my hand, but just recently, I've had my shins fire up. And it's a very strange body part to which I've never felt before.
Like
But
sharp
this
pains
fascinates me.
or muscular
Yeah,
or
almost like I want to say electrical, but it's just ironically, it just happened last night. So I don't know. Maybe I've pulled something or
Both shins?
this whole subject fascinates me. So
yeah.
which
I don't
shin?
know.
Both
It was
legs?
both, but right now it's my left.
Okay, because there's a general shin problem, and it's got like two different parts. Or I could go right to the left shin and just see if this is close. They feel like the directions being taken by their life are, are incautious. It was written by somebody who didn't speak English, so I don't never heard of that incautious word before, but and
breaks down in the other way.
okay, here's another lacking, LAC-ING. Okay, they feel like the direction they've been taking in their life are incautious and lacking in conservative common sense, or they feel like they have to be, I don't even know what that word is, something careful about the direction they want to go in moving themselves forward. So again, it's about moving. Okay.
Incautious does break down to being heedless of potential problems or risks. So, like,
There you go.
Afraid of taking risks, maybe.
Yeah. Physical, mental, or social.
So how could Karen remove that block? Is it just verbally saying something to release that
Yeah,
fear,
the
or
opposite. So, and then start working towards what you think the opposite could be. So, I come to security versus safety, because safety still has a little bit of, there could be bad stuff out there. Security is, more secure. So I am secure. I'm secure in my decisions. I am secure in my, my direction. And then take little chunks of that security and say, what am I secure about? I'm secure about the first step, or I'm secure about where I want to go, but I'm not secure about how I'm going to get there. And so that would be working on kind of trusting.
Okay.
I kind of got that there was like a fear of commitment about it, whatever is going on, that maybe you're not ready to commit to whatever it is. If you've got something outstanding, I don't know, that you've been thinking about.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's where I'm coming up.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's more like a hesitation. So you want to clear the path easier for yourself by giving your little chunking it up. So what am I clear with? What can I feel good about? To move forward easier?
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's fascinating.
I love them.
Yeah.
Rub them and love
I
them.
love my legs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cool. I love this stuff. It's my, I'm past the age of retiring if I would like to, but I'm never going to retire, because why would I? I'm more energetic when
Fun
I'm
and
talking to
fascinating,
people.
and yeah.
And I'm learning all the time. Like, it just expands. I'd like to do some AI work with it if possible. If there was, good intentional AI possibilities, I'm not sure. Want it to go to the evil side. So I'd have to clear that out before I'd start.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about it. I wouldn't even I said to Christine, I don't even want to do a presentation, because that's old IT stuff, It's the days of clicking buttons. And I believe if we're talking, you need to get me a little picture on the thing. It's not going to represent, it's not going to help you any, I don't think, understanding what I was trying to say. And I know that the people that don't want to hear it, they don't come, or they
tune out.
Yeah. It's all good. Yeah.
we attract who we're meant to attract, right?
Yeah,
When
exactly.
I met you years ago, you helped me with a lot of blocks I was having and where I was at, and you inspired me to go into school and become a life coach and work with all of that was inside me. So it is about releasing blocks and finding space for, what you're supposed to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And getting out of your own way, right? Because if you tell anybody what you want to do, they'll poo-poo it. Just to let you know, it's not them.
Yes.
But don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody anything.
Especially family or yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I left a $200,000 job to start my own business, right? And everybody said it's going to take 3 years. And I'm like, the first year I had this really cool out of the blue $25,000 loan, which was totally law of attraction, step by step. And I could map it out going, wow, this was incredible. They phoned me. That's how a 1-800 number phoned me to ask me if I wanted a loan, because I didn't call it. But I had the number, but I didn't call it. So they called me. I just really couldn't believe it. But what I was going to say is I was almost a little bit farther than halfway through the year of my first year. And I went, wait a minute, I'm in sales. that's a pretty shitty belief, thinking that it takes 3 years for a business to grow. Like, that's insane. I can't wait 3 years to make money. And so I said, that's somebody else's belief. Just like when someone comes in and says, you know, 3 out of 10 people are going to have this, or 2 out of whatever. I always say, I didn't sign up for any of those statistics. Not my data. Back away.
Or
Don't.
only 5% say yes, or
Yeah.
yeah. You
No,
got to go through
it's
300 people before blah, blah, blah.
total wrong, right? So I flipped it immediately, and I just created a calendar that was fake and put people's names in it, and it started filling up for real. And people started showing up. Actually, one Lorraine showed up on a day that I had a Lorraine. I just made it up in my mind. So it is, you do that, right? So that was the unconscious selling that Tony Robbins said. Look for a sale, even if it's not there. I remember driving down the highway going, I wonder where my next sale is going to be. And all of a sudden, this big transport truck there's one in front of me and there's one behind me. And all of a sudden, there was another one beside me. And I went, I'm kind of boxed in here. This is freaking me out. And I look, and they're all Linamar trucks. And I went, oh.
Linamar.
As soon as they cleared, I called my boss and said, do you know anybody at Linamar? He goes, oh, yeah, I know Lyndon Huffenstuffer, something like that is her last name. She's the president. I went to school with her. Said, let's go to lunch. And I did a $4 million deal by the end of the week. I mean, it was so boom, 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 boom. Easy.
Just have to listen.
Yeah. And he knew her and he never called her. So yeah, you have to be aware and listen and open and put two and two together. Think about things after the fact. Think about things before the fact.
Mhm.
You know, before I did this, I sat down and said, oh, thank you for the words. And I believe that the words that I need to say are going to say. Some of them don't come out in all that way. But it's really funny. While I'm talking, if I call it my human, gets in the way, like I go to break off to tell a story, I should have just stayed on my path, because I'm getting fed what I'm supposed to say, just kind of without knowing that, right? It's just comes out. What's supposed to come out is supposed to come out. So anyway, I've been yakking away here. We got 8:23 is what I've got, and I don't want, if there's anybody else wants
Yeah, I
say
was gonna say if there's anything else, and I wanted to also let everybody know that you have been extremely generous and have offered our wonderful community a free session with you, which
Yeah.
is amazing.
That
That's
is
a
amazing.
huge deal. So I know normally you do like a 30-minute connection call, but you've actually said if you're a Power and Aging member, you're going to get a full 1 hour session, which is so amazing.
Wow.
With a solution, not just a teaser, you can now do 3 more sessions and get the answer. I'll give you the information that you're looking for. I also love to do people's brain and body dominances, so they can see how they stop themselves by the physical part of us. And that's always fun to show people that what that's all about. It was a big part of my growing up and learning that I had a brain balance that needed help. A body and brain balance.
If they're not local, Beth, do you do it over Zoom or phone?
I do it over the phone or Facebook. I don't even do Zoom. That's complicated. I like to push a button.
Okay.
I don't even have a website anymore. I got rid of that about a year ago. I don't have my email. My email is Beth Sutherland 77@gmail.com. Used to be BethSutherland.com. I'm attracting the people that I need. I have lots of people that refer people. I do still do networking, but I also believe that the people will come when they're supposed to come. So that.
And I just put our link for signing up for an email. I think everybody here is part of it. If not, make sure you're on our news list. Tomorrow will come the follow-up with Beth's phone number and email, which she's given us. That's the best way to reach out to her. You can let her know that you were here. I did just see a question.
Someone just asked about a session. What sort of an overview? Yeah.
Involved.
Well, typically especially the people who've already heard my story, knows all that stuff. We can get right into you. And so it would be, tell me what's going on. What is it that you're looking for? Then I usually go through I'll have my chart available so that if I do come across a number that I don't have, it will be available. And we talk about it. And then we talk about how you can change that for yourself, because everybody has the key inside them. I don't have to do it. Everything I do, I teach the person to do themselves. Even like a chakra connection or sending energy. I've taught people how to not read minds, but do some intuition work or muscle testing or whatever it is that they need. Or just plain out, here's a script to say to yourself every day, or here's a process that you can do, 3 steps. I don't like lots of processes. It's all energy. Everything like healing touch and healing, therapeutic healing and Reiki and all of that kind of stuff. It's all the same. It's just got a different name to it. And they've got processes that they had to make valuable, so they wrote them all out. We can create our own. And I believe that every course that I've taken, even in sales, there's a nugget in every course, and take that nugget and create something with it. And that's kind of been my motto all along, and use that piece that you can move to the next level and learn more.
Amazing.
I ordered a book today about something else to learn.
I know it never stops, does it?
No, Tony Robbins called it, he had it acronym NIFI or something like it, never ending education or something. I can't remember what it's called. I could Google it, but he had a little thing that he'd say, you always keep learning or you'll die. Like basically.
Well, exactly. That's just it, right? It's a good thing that there's always something still to learn with whatever it is we want to know.
And I like this too.
Because wouldn't life be boring if we knew everything?
Yeah.
Learning more about yourself too. Like what are your blocks? Why do you have this belief? Why are you not getting what you're looking for from A to B because of these things, and sort of identifying and picking it apart. It's super interesting.
I'm a work in progress at 67 years old. Keep on going. Yeah. And we're never done. And that's the other, we're never done. Whatever I learn here, I'll need it somewhere else. That's my belief.
Well, I've learned a lot tonight, all these beautiful nuggets that we're going to take away, and the process from the brain and how the body reacts, and how and why we're not necessarily where we want to be, or we're not getting results that we want, and we're somehow stopping them from happening. So
yeah,
it is a progress and a practice, but we will get there.
We will. And I love talking to you guys. I'm glad that everybody's focused. It's nice. And I just thought of another book that was really good. It's called The Brain That Changes Itself by Dr. Norman Deutsch. And it talks all about how the neuroplasticity changes. And it's like easy to read and just amazing.
Awesome.
So thank you very much for this
opportunity. Thank yous in the comments there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Beth. This has been absolutely amazing. Just what we need to end the year, to sort of shed the old and start positive.
Start new.
And happy holidays.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for lighting up our screens tonight.
Thanks everybody so much for coming.
Good to see everybody.
Thanks. That was super.
Thank you, Karen. I hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, we will.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Happy New Year.